I love Pedri as a player, but Rice, I don't think you have to have Rice in this team somewhere.
Bruno Fernandes is the most overhated player I've ever seen.
OK, let's get cracking with the show. It was a huge week.
Massive.
The English teams in European competition. We can have a look at how the Champions League group table finished. As you can see, as we know, top 8 qualify automatically, and then the 9th to 12th position, they go into the knockout round playoffs, 9th to 24, I should say. The stat from that, though, that jumps off the page, Joe, is 5 of the top 8 that qualify automatically were English teams. So it's been an unbelievable week for the English teams. And it gave us a little bit of an idea, didn't it?
It did, indeed. We want to try and figure out how much better the English teams are than some of the rest of Europe right now. How big is that disparity? So we've got what we're describing as a European expert in the building in Luca.
Yeah.
And we've got Ben, Premier League expert, of course.
Yeah.
So you're going to pick the Premier League's strongest 11. Luca, you're bringing Europe's strongest 11. We're going to go position by position and see how it works out. Who gets more into an 11? Flex, you're going to have the casting vote.
Flex, you are the gaffer. Because there is a lot of debate going on social media about how dominant the Premier League has been. So we thought, well, let's see if that is the case by bringing it to the table. Let's start with keepers. Based on this season, who's the most informed keeper in the Premier League and outside the Premier League? Luca, you've gone Courtois.
Yeah, I've gone with Courtois. I think he's been one of the best keepers in the world for the last 10 odd years. And this season, I think he's elevated his game a lot. And I really think he's in all-time conversations now. He's the most clean sheets in La Liga. And Madrid's back four has changed a lot because of injuries. Dean Huijsen's been injured, Carvajal, Trent Alexander-Arnold. But he's been a constant all season and he's had big games, especially in the UCL against Liverpool, against Juventus. I think he's the best to offer in Europe. But honourable mentions as well to Mike Maignan for AC Milan and Joao Garcia. Two good keepers.
Statistically, there's not a lot in it, actually.
Yeah.
They've both conceded exactly 17 goals. And 71.2% save ratio in the Prem for Donnarumma, 73% save ratio for Courtois. So clearly two top keepers. Why Donnarumma for you from the Prem?
I think it was a toss-up between him and David Raya. David Raya is exceptional. Donnarumma has come in, I think, had a massive impact on this City team. Obviously didn't play the first few games, so he's played slightly less games than Raya as well and conceded the same amount of goals, slightly less clean sheets, but I think he's prevented just under 3 goals in the Premier League as well, with the worst defence, I think, in front of him for the majority of the season. City have had to make changes with injuries, etc. Should be a little bit more settled now with Gay coming in, but I think Donnarumma is top, like in big moments as well. You saw that in the Champions League with PSG last season, but you've seen it in big moments for City, I think, as well this season. Some of the saves in the Manchester derby earlier on in the season as well. He's just an absolute freak. Like, I think these two, I think obviously Raya has come into those conversations, but I still think these two are the best goalkeepers the world has to offer. It is really close. I think obviously I'd Prem bias, I'd edge Donnarumma, but I think you make a strong cause.
You say big game, they are two very big game players as well for keepers.
Massive.
Flex, you've got the deciding vote, mate.
It's tough. With Courtois, though, I just don't see any weaknesses in his game. I just think he's just so perfect in what he does and the longevity. And like Luca's saying, you're talking about Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it already. I'm gonna shade with Courtois. I think with Donnarumma does make huge saves, 100%, some eye-catching saves, but
stick him up, Flex.
I'm gonna say Courtois.
OK, let's go to right back. And again, this is really based on this season. This is a difficult one.
Yeah,
but
it's
you
very
have got
tough.
Hakimi, who has had, obviously, an extended period out injured.
Yeah.
Does that affect the thinking here?
It did a bit, but I also think the level of right-backs in Europe is quite low outside of the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think the real contender for him is probably Lima from Bayern Munich. But I've gone with Hakimi because despite the ankle injury he sustained in the Champions League, I just think he was operating at exactly the same wavelength as he was last season. And that first stretch of the season, he was just so good. But I am going into this knowing that most probably I will lose here. And I don't mind conceding because I thought he was, well, we'll touch upon who he's gone with, but there are 2 names in the Premier League that I think would edge anyone else anyway. So
Is one of them Reece James?
yeah, it's Reece James and Timber.
Timber,
I think
the other
have
one,
been
I was
the 2
taking it,
best.
Yeah, and again, between Reece James and Timber, it was a bit of a toss-up, kind of difference in styles, but I think Reece James, again, we spoke about with Donnarumma and Courtois, like big moments, big games. You saw what he did against Barcelona, what he did against Arsenal, even against Napoli the other night as well, with a sort of a different shift in system. But what he offers you on the ball, being able to step into midfield, excellent cross. I think he's got 6 goal contributions this season. And I think Reece James, when he is fit, and he's been fit for an extended period now, is the best we've got to offer in Europe. Again, slightly different in terms of what him and Hakimi offer, but I'd edge towards Reece James.
Flex?
Reece James, all
Okay,
day.
stick him up.
This season with the injury.
And I'm
think
so
we-
glad
I
that
think-
he's remained injury-free so we can just get a
Yeah,
run.
Hakimi, I think a lot of people have as the best right back.
Yeah, if he was fully fit, I think
Fully
he
fit, Europe, but injuries play a part. Stick Reece James, and let's look at. Should we do the 2 together?
Yeah.
Oof, this one here, guys. This one's tough for me personally. I would have gone. I'm a bit surprised who's Ben has gone there with, but I would have gone both Premier League boys, specifically both Arsenal boys. But I've gone with William Pacho and Upamecano. I think Pacho is a super complete centre-half. I think he's technically really gifted, very athletic, and I think he complements an aging Marquinhos extremely well, and he's continued that great form that we saw from the treble-winning team last year. And I've gone with Upamecano because I think he gets slept on a lot. I think a lot of people remember him from big moments in the UCL, maybe lapses in judgment, but I think he's eyeing those creases out, I'd say. And there's a reason why Deschamps always favours him as the main centre-back when it comes to the national team, and it's always Saliba or Konate next to him. And Bayern have the best defensive record in the Bundesliga. Not very surprising, but I think he's been at the heart of that. So I'd go these two guys, but again, the centre-back role is very tough.
Upamecano has been outrageous.
Yeah, I agree.
It's worth pointing out. But no Saliba.
Can't have too many Arsenal boys.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking that.
I'm joking. I think Saliba's been excellent. I think Gabriel 100% gets in here. I think he is the A side of that Arsenal defence as well now, Gabriel.
Yeah.
I think so. I think Saliba's become a bit underrated because of how good Gabriel's been, and a lot of the focus has shifted towards him. And Saliba is well worthy of being in here. But I think Mark Gay deserves his flowers. He was excellent in that first half of the season for Crystal Palace, where everything was going so well. Obviously, things have tailed off a bit recently for them, but just 7 out of 10 every week, so consistent. I think he's so underrated on the ball as well, and I think you're going to see that level go up. Now he's gone to City. I think you saw shades of that in the game against Wolves recently. And I think, look, could have easily gone with Saliba. I just think Gay deserves his flowers. Become the A side of that England defence as well now. And I just think in terms of the European conversation, I think he's extremely underrated. With this, I think it's probably one of each. I think Saliba could definitely get in here, but I think you make a good case for Upamecano. I think Gabriel has to be in here, though.
Gabriel has to be in there. I'm not having
Upamecano and Gabriel then?
What do you mean not having a
That's harsh, Flex.
You're not. Come on, you can't say you're not having.
No. Saliba's better than Upamecano.
I agree.
I'm not.
He's not there.
I know.
If we're
But
doing it on this season, I think
Upamecano,
Gay deserves to
listen,
be in this
I'm not. Bayern been unbelievable. Yes, best defensive record, etc., etc. And I know what you're saying, Luca, about people probably just highlighting those lapses of concentration. Too clumsy, mate. Nah, not for me.
You've got in your head that performance against Man United.
No, not just. Honestly, every time I watch
account this season, I think you've got in your head.
Okay, he's having a good season, but the consistency of him over what he's meant to be and what he's been talked up to be from on to here.
So you wouldn't have Upamecano as one of the best centre-backs in Europe?
It's your decision.
He's one of, but he's not. He shouldn't. I wouldn't have had him in this. But
Have him over Gahey. No, you'd have Gahey over Upamecano, you reckon, this season?
Out of this, and then Gahey, he's not better than Saliba. I don't even think he's better than Konsa. Honestly, I'd have Konsa over Gahey, me personally.
I think Saliba is better than Mark Gay, but I think Gahey has had a slightly better season than Saliba, and I think he deserves to be in this conversation because I don't think Gahey gets recognised as one of Europe's best, but I actually think he is. So,
just to confirm,
I'd probably go Pacho and Gabriel out of that.
Okay.
Wow.
I would.
I think Pacho's super.
Pacho's top.
Pacho's good as well.
I'm sorry.
We'll kick him down then. Flex is cool.
Flex is cool.
Harsh on
Interesting
Upamecano,
shout, yeah.
I think you're right.
We've surely got to get a buy-in.
The harsh element to that was the way you dismissed him so quickly as well.
Because
And
something tells me him to even be brought up.
I think we're likely to see a few Bayern players in this.
Left back.
I hope so anyway.
Left back, I do like the guy you've gone for, Ben, but here I think it's a whitewash. I think Nuno Mendes is by far and away the most complete left back in world football. Offensively, he's so good, but I think defensively, that's where he really stands out. His one-on-one defending is incredible, man. He's an absolute engine. He's a great ball carrier. He's physically imposing. He's so athletic. And I think he's by far and away the best left back in the world.
Yeah, you make a strong case. I know I'm meant to be sticking up for the Prem here, but I think it's hard to argue. I think Nuno Mendes also, there's been a bit of a conversation around him in all-timer conversations recently, and I don't think that's premature, in terms of what he could go on to achieve. In terms of what he could go on to achieve, I think the level he's playing at now is nuts. But left back was a hard one. I think Calafiori has been the best in the Prem so far this season, and he's been really good. I think he's a bit of a game breaker from left back. He's so unique in terms of profile, he can get up the pitch, affect it in the final third. I was quite tempted to chuck Lewis Hall in here as well for his recent performances, but I don't think there's necessarily been as standout a left back as maybe some of the other positions.
No shout to Cucurella.
Cucurella, yeah, 100%. Lewis Hall, Cucurella, Nico O'Reilly as well, I think deserve to be in this conversation. But I think Calafiori has probably been the most consistent. But I think Nuno Mendes, I think it's hard to argue against.
Got to be. There's
a good debate in the midfield to come on as well. Let's start deeper.
Should we do first DM?
Do the number 6 first, and I've gone with the PSG man himself, Mr. Vitinha.
There's a lot of PSG love for a team that have struggled a little bit in Liga and coming off the back of a Club World Cup where they've not actually been great.
Couldn't beat these boys the other night. I know Guimaraes didn't play.
Yeah, I mean, your boy wasn't there. No, it's true. I think PSG have tailed off a little bit from last season, but I do think individual performances have prevailed from a lot of their players, and I think Vitinha's still been absolutely excellent. I think what he offers as a 6 is second to none, really, dictating the game from deep. He still has a lot of goal involvements as well, 15, I believe, this season, which is ridiculous for a 6. And he comes up clutch in big moments. But I think this guy here is the heartbeat of that PSG midfield. As good as it is with Fabian and Joao Neves, he is the best.
His goal midweek, mate. His goal midweek, right?
Yeah.
It's not the first time he's done that type of finish as well.
Yeah.
Joke of a player.
He's so good.
Bruno G.
Bruno G, yeah, I mean, honourable mention to Granit Xhaka as well, if we're kind of talking pure 6, for what he's done and helped kind of transform that Sunderland team. I think Caicedo, again, in terms of a 6, deserves to be in it. But I think Bruno Guimaraes has been one of the best midfielders in the Premier League this season. I think has operated at maybe a more consistent level than Caicedo across the whole season. Different types of players, 100%. And again, different types of 6s. And Guimaraes plays a little bit further forward as well. But I think there's been so much of the focus shifted towards Tonali. I think in the Newcastle midfield conversations, getting compared to the likes of Rice, who I'm sure we're going to talk about as well. But Guimaraes is one of the best big game players in the league. No midfielder has scored more goals than him in the Premier League so far this season. I think you've seen the difference in the level of the Newcastle team when he's not in it. Didn't play against Aston Villa last week. There's like stats out there to show that they just do not win when he doesn't play.
They literally haven't won a Premier League game without him.
Exactly. You are right. The underlying numbers, I was looking at this with Bruno, in terms of goal involvements, 8 goals, 3 assists, I believe, is the record of percentage wins with him compared to without him. Most line-breaking passes into the final third as well of any player in the Premier League. So he has had a very good season, but we're comparing him to Vitinha.
He's not better than Vitinha.
I agree.
Bruno G's been fantastic, but it's got to be Vitinha. The way he dictates the play, he's world class.
Stick him up. Yeah, Vitinha, top player.
Great debate next, I think.
Yeah.
The 8s.
Is this where I think it's going with Rice v Pedri? Let's confirm it is Declan Rice versus Pedri. Ben, kick us off.
So this is an interesting one because, again, a little bit of a clash of kind of styles.
Yeah,
and
very
I love
different.
Pedri as a player, but Rice, I don't think you have to have Rice in this team somewhere in terms of the box-to-box. He's such a leader, doesn't drop less than a 7 out of 10 every week. He's a goal threat. Yes, people will hold the set pieces against him and it's not the most entertaining kind of brand of football to watch, but his delivery is absolutely exceptional. He's a leader in that team. His engine is fantastic. He's just like Mr. Consistent, well worthy of the £100 million fee. And it makes me feel sick to say this as a Spurs fan, but he is just incredible. And again, very contrasting in terms of styles. I think there might have to be a compromise in here. I think you have to. Because I think Pedri, as much as I love Vitinha, I think they've both got to be in this team.
Yeah.
I do, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I think Rice is a given, but I also think this man, you can't leave him out, man. Because when it comes to midfielders, I think he is number 1. Yeah. I think he's the best midfielder in the world. That Barcelona team without Pedri, it doesn't tick. He's super intelligent. He's technically gifted. His final pass is ridiculous, man. And their attack is so fluid, but I think it's because of him in behind, threading passes through the lines. This guy here, I know he's had some injury problems this season, but when he plays, he is absolutely world class. And I think, but like we were talking about Nuno Mendes potentially being in all-time conversations, this guy here by the end of his career is easily a table 1 midfielder. He's incredible.
I'd class them both as world class.
I think
easily.
And this season as well. Do you know what? When we were looking at it before the show, actually, and we were comparing it, both of us said, is there a way you get both of them in as a midfielder?
Because who are your next two midfielders?
Let's have a look.
To answer that, let's have a look at who you did have.
So I've gone with a 10 here. Honestly, it was close between this guy and Fermin Lopez, but I've edged it to Nico Paz.
Linked with Tottenham, wasn't he, for about 2 days?
Incredible.
Tell us about Nico Paz, Luca.
Paz is so good. I believe he has 8 goals and 6 assists in the league, the other way around. But that Como team is an average team. It really is. It's a mid-table team, and they're in 6th place simply because of him. And I know Fabregas plays a nice brand of football, and he's a very fluid manager, and I'm sure he'll reach very high heights in his career. But Paz is so good. His output is ridiculous. He's technically gifted. He's a great dead ball specialist. Yeah. He is arguably the MVP of the Serie A so far this season, you could make the case. He was the best young player in the Serie A last season, and he's levelled up his game so well. And when he goes back to Madrid this summer, he's going to be a star. He's one of the first names on that team.
Tell us about, because you watch a lot of Italian football. Obviously, we've seen him. We watched him closely when he was linked with Tottenham for quite a while. We're quite excited. Obviously, he will go back to Real Madrid. What is his ceilings, do you think? How good of a player are we talking about here?
It's tough because, I don't think he could potentially win a Ballon d'Or, but I don't think, he could, genuinely, if all things go well, because he's Argentinian. Ballon d'Or's about, club accolades, national team accolades, so he could potentially do that. But his ceiling is to be the best midfielder in the world, or at least one of the best for sure. He's in that conversation.
Wow. Bruno?
Most assists, most chances created, most big chances created. And, that's obviously for this season, but you go back across the last few seasons, he's been doing this consistently. I think Bruno Fernandes has been criminally underrated now for a while because people don't necessarily like his personality and some of the antics on the pitch, but it's just him being a leader, stepping up for that United team that he's put on his back really over the last few years. And even if you look at, I know United were better in the first half of the season under Amorim than they were last year, but still in that dysfunctional team, what he was being able to create from a deeper position that doesn't necessarily suit him or get the best out of him, what he was still being able to do in the numbers that he's putting up. I think if we're getting a 10 in here, I think Bruno Fernandes, I love Nico Paz as a talent, but Fernandes has to be in here. I think he'd walk into nearly any team in the world, certainly any team in the Premier League, I think this guy gets into.
So are you going for these two or are you going to go for Pedri and Rice?
No, I'd go Pedri Rice.
I think Fernandes, I still think Fernandes is a bit slept on, but I do think if we're building the best midfield and we're not worrying about 6, 8, 10, maybe we go 2-8 or 6 and 2 8s, I'm inclined to agree of having Rice, Pedri and Vitinha, to be honest. But I think Fernandes needs to be in it.
No, you can't give him the...
Bruno Fernandes in this team. He does, though. If you're talking about the best of a position, the best output across Europe, he does it. I don't understand. Bruno Fernandes is the most overhated player I've ever seen, the most underrated player I've ever seen. It is because there's a few arms up and people always mock him and stuff like that. The guy if he played for any of the top teams in Europe, people would be raving about him and everyone would love him. It's only because he plays for Man United, and Man United have been absolutely shocking since his 6 years. For me, Bruno Fernandes has to be in that team. If you're talking about a European 11, I'm saying Bruno Fernandes right 8. I'm saying Rice left 8.
Wow. And are we taking Vitinha out?
Just to confirm, you're not selecting Pedri.
Nah. Do you know why? Because we need the back. Because we've got Vitinha and we're going to have Bruno. We need a destroyer in there. We need a destroyer in there.
Yeah, but
he plays Pedri plays the game beautifully. Artistically, the way he moves, he's elegant, he dictates the play, 100%. I'm not saying he's a poor player. I'm not saying he's a poor player, but I'm trying to build a balanced team here. Out of the bet, I'm saying Vitinha, Bruno.
Fans of Upamecano and Pedri are not going to be.
Don't come at me in the comments for this.
Okay, let's make a decision.
That's harsh.
Stick him down then. You might have to help.
Stick him down. Bruno
Fernandes and then Rice.
Stick that. Right, let's reveal your next position.
Right wing.
Right wing. Pedri.
Right wing. Is this one of the easier shouts?
Not for me. This was so hard for me. It's between two names, and I've gone with Michael Olise this season. And I know this might cause a lot of controversy because Lamine Yamal is incredible, and I think Lamine is the better player. But if you're talking about performances this year, Olise has been incredible. I think he has 35 goal contributions, 12 goals, ridiculous amount of assists, the most assists in the UCL group stage so far. And what I love about Olise is he's levelled up his game season upon season. In the Club World Cup, Musiala got a really bad injury, and you were looking at how will the Bayern team fathom without Musiala? And I think Olise's really made that step up in quality and become the creative just monster really in that final third. So I think Olise, you can't really not have him in. And in terms of overall performances this season, I think he's been a top 4 performing player in the world. So
I think, I know you mentioned Yamal then. I think we all agree Yamal is, Ballon d'Or, number 1, amazing. But you make a great point about this season. That's why I don't hate the pick. He's been unbelievable this season. 10 goals, 14 assists. You look at the link-up play with Kane that he provides. Unbelievably informed player, Olise.
Yeah. Semenyo.
And Semenyo.
You're asking me to go against one of my favourite players in the world. But Semenyo, I mean, it's there was a few names for right wing. I think Brian Mbumo is worth a shout as well in terms of that kind of inside forward that gets in behind, scores goals. But Semenyo, well worthy of the move to Man City, the top scoring player in the Premier League outside of the strikers. I think he's got 11 goals so far in the Premier League season. Has obviously carried on that form.
11 goals, 3 assists,
far.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a top player. And I think if he had... I know he obviously thrives in transition, which means that I think he could go to a league like the Bundesliga and those numbers would go through the roof with the space some sort of players get.
It's got to be Olise.
Stick him down.
I really like what Semenyo's done as well.
Left wing.
Can you put that?
Yeah.
Luke is excited.
Yeah,
here we go. Mr. Juventus, we knew this name was coming through, by the way.
You expected it,
We
though,
expected
guys.
it.
Yeah.
Obviously, shout out to Luis Diaz, Rafinha, but I think Rafinha, because of the injuries, I didn't go for him. I've gone with the chosen one, Mr. Kenan Yildiz, man. This guy here, so good at football, man. He's so good, guys. But I've gone with Kenan because this Juventus team, it isn't the same Juventus team that we all grew up with, right? The level has dropped, and he's the best player in this team by a mile, and I think he's the best player in the Serie A, and there's no close second. He's our most creative player. He's our most reliable goal scorer. Everything goes through Kenan. And he's kind of like Hazard in the sense that the numbers, they don't show enough. You have to watch him to really understand how good he is. Everything good goes through him. And there's this ridiculous stat that he had this season, 20-plus progressive carries, 10-plus shot creating actions, and 10-plus successful take-ons. And if you convert that to a triple-double, in the last 6 years, only 4 players have achieved that in a single game in a top-5 league. And that is Ousmane Dembele, Kenan Yildiz, Neymar Jr., who did it 3 times, and Lionel Messi. So this guy here is a super complete winger. He's only 20 as well. He's wearing the number 10, the most iconic shirt in Juventus history, and he's really carrying the torch. And Spalletti described him as an alien the other day, and I can't help to agree. So for me, Kenan...
We knew he was coming, didn't we? We knew he was coming. But Morgan Rogers as well.
Yeah.
He's taken luck with that, and it was unbelievably articulated. That
Have you got a Messi or a Neymar?
But Morgan Rogers, if we're looking at informed players in the Premier League, you know, we have to talk about Morgan Rogers.
Yep, 5th most goal contributions in the Prem so far this season. Again, in a league where he doesn't necessarily get as much space with the way that the league is kind of going. He's a game breaker. Look at the shots from outside the box. Again, I think the same thing with Semenyo. I think Rogers, actually to a larger extent as well, if he went to another league that was more space, I think the goal contributions again would just go through the roof. He can open up the middle of the pitch so well with his progressive carry, and his dribbling is insane. He's obviously been kind of moved more to a left wing position this season as well, which I actually don't think necessarily gets the best out of him. So to see him still put up the numbers that he is, I think he's an insane player that is well worthy of 100 million kind of price tag. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, it's got to be Yildiz, man.
It does.
Okay, last player, striker. Good debate here.
Tough.
Okay. So we've got...
Luca, did you go for Harry Kane?
No.
Mbappe v Haaland. No Harry Kane.
It was a toss-up, guys. It was Mbappe.
You knew Ben was in the studio, bro. He would have given you this one.
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
That was absolute tapping.
It makes my debate harder, but I back myself here to the debate. No, look, I think I'm going into this tough because I think Erling Haaland is the best striker in the world. But I've gone with Mbappe.
Note that down quickly, Flex.
But that's it. We don't just back up and go.
No, I agree it's Haaland. But Mbappe's got 36 goals in all competitions, top scorer in the UCL with 13. He's contributed to 36% of Real Madrid's La Liga goals. And I know Real Madrid haven't been incredible this season, and there's a lot of talk off the pitch about Mbappe's mindset, his arrogance, confidence, whatever you want to call it. But he is the main man, and his numbers are ridiculous. He's improved since last season. He's adjusted fully to the La Liga. And I personally prefer Mbappe to Kane, but you could have easily gone Kane.
Yeah,
Super tough.
they've got the same amount of goals, Kane and Mbappe, and assists, actually. But Kane's actually got the best goals to game of any of the 3 in leagues, and what he does as a number 10 as well. So I'm surprised Kane isn't there, but you can't argue with Mbappe. You've gone Haaland.
Yeah, 20 Prem goals so far this season. I know he's had a bit more of a lean patch recently, but I think the goals are being shared around more a little bit now with the likes of Semenyo coming in. It's taking the pressure off Haaland a little bit. You still want to see him get back to that clinical best, especially if City are going to take down this title race from Arsenal. But in the first half of the season was just absolutely incredible. Again, with the goals percentage in terms of what he's done for this Man City team, I think Kane is the best all-round striker in the world. But if you're talking about a pure finisher, an out-and-out number 9, I think it's got to be Erling Haaland, and by far and away the best striker in the league.
Flex,
It's tight. It's tight, man. I edge it to Kylian Mbappe. I just think he's got a bit more to his game, and I think in this type of team, when there's so much creativity,
Fair play.
I think he's just got a bit more.
There we go. I mean, the thing is, we've done this Kane, Mbappe, Haaland debate. There's no wrong answer.
It's so hard.
So there we have it. There is confirmation of the Premier League versus World 11 between Ben and Luca. Flex with the deciding vote. Some big omissions there. Give us your honest opinion on that at home.
You can
Let
take
us
out
know
Rice
what
for
you
Pedri
think.
if you really want, but Bruno's staying in there, mate.